What if you could automatically pause software deployments during your busiest times, like Black Friday, end of quarter deadlines, or holiday periods where your teams are short staffed? Well, stick around because I want to show you deployment freezes in Octopus Deploy. With deployment freezes, you can automatically prevent risky deployments during critical windows, like holiday seasons when your team is short staffed, during important demos when you need system stability, or maybe preventing production deployments during key business hours. You get granular control over exactly which projects, environments, and even specific tenants are frozen, plus the ability to set up recurring deployment freeze windows that happen automatically. Let's jump in so I can show you how easy this is. And within a project in Octopus Deploy, there's an option on the left for freezes, which is what we want to explore. I don't have any right now, but I can add a new deployment freeze for this project. Let's imagine I have a window every week where I want to implement a deployment freeze, so I'll give it an appropriate name and you provide the schedule for the freeze. I want to demonstrate this now, so the 30-minute time window there is pretty good, and some recent functionality we added in is for this to be a recurring freeze, and you can see there are a number of flexible options. I'll choose to repeat this weekly on a Sunday, and the final configuration is to select which environments I want the freeze to apply for. I'm only concerned about freezing deployments to production. I don't want to stop our developers releasing to dev or test. One quick sidebar, you don't see it here because I don't have them in use in this project, but if you were using tenants, you'd have the ability to scope this deployment freeze to tenants as well. That looks good, so I'll save that, and that's it. We now have a deployment freeze scheduled for the production environment in this project every Sunday from 3 p.m. until 3:30 p.m. local time. Back on the freezes tab, you get a nice view of all of the freezes configured for this project. Now, the real time right now isn't quite 3 p.m, so the status of this freeze is scheduled. But if I jump back in and quickly adjust the time of the freeze to apply to right now, and then save it, you'll notice the information banner changes to green and it states the deployment freeze is currently active. Back on the main freezes pane, that also now says active rather than scheduled. And if I navigate over to the project dashboard, these are all my projects, but I want to draw your attention to the snowflake icon next to the live status project, indicating there is an active deployment freeze. In another browser, I'm logged in as a standard user who has permissions to run deployments, so I'll open up the project and attempt to do a deployment to production so you can see the experience. You'll notice that at the top right, the deploy button is grayed out, and this information banner is telling me that there are frozen environments included in the environments I'm trying to deploy to, meaning I can't proceed with the deployment. If I navigate back to my other window, which is logged in as me, I have elevated permissions, which includes the ability to perform a deployment during a freeze window. You'll see this override section pop up, and you need to provide a reason for overriding the freeze and continuing with the deployment. All activities are logged in the audit trail, so you can see exactly what happened and when. Now, that's deployment freezes on a per project basis, which all Octopus customers have access to. But if you want to manage freezes across multiple projects and spaces, customers with an enterprise license can manage these at the instance level under configuration and then freezes. Even if you're not an enterprise customer, you can still use this view to see all of your project level freezes. You just can't create and manage them from here. The process to add a freeze here is similar. You'll provide a name, like Black Friday 2025, and then set a schedule. For my example, I want to have a deployment freeze for the entire day, and I don't want it to repeat. The main difference is with scoping, where you now assign projects to the freeze. So I'll go ahead and add a few of my projects, some of which are in the default space, and some of which are in a different space. Next, you need to define the environments of those projects you want to scope the freeze to. So again, I'll choose just to scope it to the production environments and assign those 4 projects to the freeze. If you had them, you can scope this to tenants as well, but let me save the new deployment freeze, and if I go back to the freezes overview tab, we can see the Black Friday freeze is scheduled for later in the year, and the project level freeze we created a few minutes ago is still currently active. I really love this functionality as deployment freezers give you the flexibility and confidence to maintain your deployment velocity while respecting critical windows that matter to the business. So go ahead and try out deployment freezers today, and I'll see you in the next one.